Queen's Flip confirms Joe Budden suspended Melyssa Ford and demoted her.
Is she back? Is she back on Fridays?
Trying to get you.
I want you to announce it. Like, we miss her. We love her. She did amazing today.
And so we're clear, the Friday is a Mel thing. It's not Joe saying, Mel, don't come here. It's to make sure that
She was sad them up.
Trust us.
No
to
makeup on. She had the whole bottle to death. They trying to get rid of her.
Yeah, that's right. On the Patreon episode, which was filled with a lot of controversial stuff, it was finally found out that Melyssa Ford was indeed demoted and suspended. And I know some of you might read that whole back and forth as not necessarily a tacit admission, but all you had to do is read what was actually said. So they start going into this whole spiel about how Melyssa Ford was being asked not to come on Fridays. And then Joe Budden says, oh, but this is part of Melyssa Ford's plan. This is part of what she wanted to do. However, a little bit later into that, Flip kind of talks about some type of thing that happened where Melyssa Ford was not wearing makeup. She wasn't necessarily happy. And I'm like, this is 100% true. Melyssa Ford was suspended. She was then indeed told not to come on Fridays. And there's a myriad of reasons why that is. She wasn't performing well on the Patreon. And everybody heard the whispers. The content is better without Melyssa Ford. Now, it's not necessarily because Melyssa Ford is terrible. It's a combination of things. Melyssa Ford is terrible, but the Joe Budden podcast also doesn't know how to treat the woman voice. So I know a lot of you might be saying they would just edit this out. Well, I think Joe doesn't edit things out because he wants to create the organic feel. And if he edits things out too much, because he already does that, then it will start to lose the vibe of that organic feel. But when Flip was really waking it up, Joe wanted to skirt by all that. And shout out to the stoppers. A lot of people was in those comment sections saying, Danny, you're wrong. She's not suspended. She's actually, just promoting her podcast. And it's like, no, she wasn't promoting her podcast. She was asked to stay home. And then she was asked to stay home on Fridays. It's not a contractual win when you're not getting paid for your time on the show. Melyssa Ford wants that money for being there Friday, but Joe Budden observed along with Ian that she wasn't necessarily putting up numbers. Melyssa Ford is a big problem for the show. I think they like the visibility of her as a content creator. The woman audience naturally gravitates to her, but in general, she is severely lacking in a lot of aspects. And I think some of that is self-imposed. She doesn't want to present to be too, hoey. I think that's I can't even find another word. She doesn't like to share her whole stories, which Joe Budden wanted her to do. Kind of similar to Ian Dunlop when he was on the show. He didn't want to wake it up too much. He kind of just wanted to be somebody who shared knowledge, but they really didn't share knowledge up there. And he didn't have the broadcasting technique that Mark Lamont Hill does to give the cure and the poison, right? Like Mark Lamont could get belligerent, but he could also drop knowledge. Whereas Ian just doesn't have that tact. And I think that's what was happening with Melyssa Ford, but she has the pre-existing celebrity to generate very viral moments for the show. But let me know what you think. I think I heard a big tone change in Joe as Flip started to talk about the real behind the scenes drama. I think that was good stuff, y'all. And let me know what you think. I believe this fully confirms Melyssa Ford. She's being lessened on the show. She's being told to stay home on Fridays. She was suspended for lack of work, showing up to the pod, pouting, and also getting really, really withdrawn whenever there was an awkward argument on air. Tap in with the Patreon. Funny enough, they did an episode only audio because they corrupted the video, but I think there was something more to that because I did the science and there's a little interesting part. All right, y'all. Follow me on Instagram, The Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter, The Stop TV. Tap in with my Patreon. There's 2 videos. I did one about Ish, and I also did one about, something else that happened. But here's a short tidbit of that. Is Ish a scammer? Ever since his arrival on the Joe Budden podcast, Ish, aka Antoine Marby, was someone who seemed like he knew a lot about various things, whether it be real estate, fashion with his That's That Ish clothing line, or just about anything else. Ish always felt like he had an authority on the subject, regardless of what that was. And if you want to see the rest of it, subscribe to the Patreon. This is Danny from The Stop. Peace.